Hello everyone and welcome to another collection showcase, and today we're going to be looking at this. This is a 8th Doctor and Dalek Interrogator Prime from the first wave of the B&M Big Finish sets, but this one is actually a bit of a factory error, and some of you are probably going to find it very difficult to see what is an error about this, and I'm going to come back to that in a minute. But to discuss how I came across this firstly, about a week or so ago, I was looking for a spare Interrogator Prime to do a future Time Lord Victorious custom, and I went online onto eBay and I couldn't find one out of box at a decent price, and it ended up being that it was just cheaper for me to buy a still boxed one compared to the ones that were on there for sale individually, because then I got, you know, the 8th Doctor figure with it as well, which I could use for spares and things. So I ended up buying one of those, and that arrived safe and sound, and the Dalek is now in pieces, waiting to be painted. But whilst I was searching among the boxed ones, I came across this one, and at first I didn't really pay any attention to it. But then when I was reviewing them, looking over, you know, which one was going to be the most cost effective, I noticed something on this one that was very, very strange, and I am going to try and get this on camera now because I don't want to cut, because otherwise people might say, well, you're just showing a close-up of a different one. I want to prove this is the same one, because if I turn this set in this angle, hopefully it's coming up on camera, the eye stalk here, the iris I should say, is white. And for those who know these sets, or for those who don't know these sets, either way, you will know that the white eye stalk was seen in the Big Finish 150 exclusive versions. Now, obviously, my first thought was, right, okay, well, someone's clearly perhaps changed over the Daleks, but as you can see, all of the seals and tabs are all still in place. There is no creasing on the bottom of the box, because one thing I have noticed recently in some mispacks is this flap is pulled out, and then the Dalek and the set can be slipped out of the bottom and then put back in. But normally you would notice a creasing around here where that has happened, and that's certainly not what's happened here. As I said, all of the pieces are all still inside, and if you look at the Doctor's boots are in fact brown, and in the Big Finish exclusive version they are black. So this is definitely, and obviously the other notable thing is it's got the gold sticker as opposed to the Big Finish sticker. This is definitely some sort of factory mispack that has meant that there is one of the Big Finish exclusive Daleks in this. And the other thing that makes me believe that this is genuine is I cannot remember who it was. I should have looked this up before I started, but I do know that someone who got one of the in the B&M versions, these B&M versions, who got an advanced, I think it was an advanced copy, or it was one they bought in store. As I said, it was a while back, I can't remember, but it also had a white eye stalk. And given the fact that I have come across quite a few factory errors, especially in some of the earlier B&M ranges, the later ones now, they seem to be a bit more careful, but many of the earlier ones did seem to have factory errors. I don't have any proof for this, but all factors point towards this actually being a real factory error piece, which would explain quite a bit. You know, the fact that if the box tabs had looked like they'd been removed and put back on, or there was creasing in the bottom of the box, then my first thought would be, well, somebody's done this themselves. You know, even down to things such as the tape on the inside of the box. If you look carefully with a magnifying glass, you can sometimes see a fingerprint or a thumbprint on there, which usually means that somebody has resealed it, because it was one of those things that was pointed out to me, and my first thought was often, well, you know, it could be someone in the factory's done that. But actually, when you look, they're very careful in the factory, it seems, not to leave fingerprints and things like that. So if you see a fingerprint inside, it usually means that it's been opened and reboxed. Again, that is what is being told to me by other collectors, but I haven't noticed anything like that inside. All the seals around the edge are still the same. There's no sort of, there's no tearing of the decals where the old ones have been peeled off and a new one's been put on. There's no sticky residue where it might have been the previous ones have been removed and the new ones have been put on. As I said, there's no creasing on the bottom of the box. All the factors point towards this being a real factory error. And so I'm very pleased to have this in my collection. You know, it was one of those ones that if I hadn't done my usual sort of price check of looking at, you know, bring up several sets, as I often do on eBay, I look through several sets, look at the conditions of each Dalek, you know, to see, well, that one's got a slightly bent eye stalk, that one's got a scratch here or there, and, you know, it occasionally happens when things are packed, you know, things are packed incorrectly, or things get bent, or, you know, there's little scratches or too much dirt on a figure. You know, I'm very careful about what I want to use for figure spares and things like that. So if I hadn't looked that carefully, I wouldn't have noticed this, but I'm very, very pleased I did, because this really is one of those things that's it's a fantastic, you know, collection piece. And it does make me wonder, I have to say, if that means that somewhere out there is one or more, as I said, because I know someone else who had this exact same thing, one or more of the Big Finish 150 sets that maybe has the wrong Dalek in it, has one of the B&M Daleks in it, which obviously, you know, makes those sets worth a fair bit, you know, obviously as long as it's still in its box. But it also, you know, does beg the question of maybe they, you know, when they produced them, they did the eye stalks, you know, they did them blue for the B&M ones, they did them white for the Big Finish ones, and maybe just a few of the B&M ones got painted white as well. You know, there's all sorts of things that could, you know, that could have happened here, you know, but it's very difficult to sort of say what it was. But either way, I have very little reason to doubt this is a genuine factory mispack. And the thing is as well, the other thing that has just occurred to me while I'm talking, why would somebody swap out a rare Dalek into a standard, more mass-produced set? That's literally just occurred to me, and I've thought, well, there you go. That's another reason. Why would you do that? Why would you actively put a rarer Dalek into a set and then sell it on for barely anything that it's worth? Because I'm not going to say how much I got this for, but I got it for quite cheap. Yeah, that's literally just occurred to me. So there you go. You know, so it's certainly one that is a nice piece for my collection. All I really need to do now, actually, is find a War Doctor with some sort of factory error in it, because I've got a 7th Doctor one with the Dalek scientist from the War Doctor set. I've now got this one, so maybe I'll keep a lookout. You never know, something might pop up. But having said that, like I say, character options are usually very good with their factory errors. It's just one of those things that happens occasionally. And to be fair, factory errors generally aren't worth a huge amount. You know, I get them for my collection because they are nice pieces and they're a bit more unique. And especially if they're still sealed, it means that they're worth a little bit more than the normal, you know, than a normal set. But, you know, we're not talking hundreds of thousands of pounds. I think that is a common misconception, is that factory errors can often be worth a lot more than they are. You know, it's not generally true. I just get them because it's a nice, unique piece to have in my collection, you know. But on that note, that brings to the end a close to another collection showcase. As always, I hope you all enjoyed this video. Like, favorite, subscribe, share, it really helps me out a lot, and be sure to the description below for a link to my Patreon. I'm doing my very first figure animation, and you can get involved. There's exclusive content and rewards for those who do so, and funding my Patreon in any way gets your name at the end of my videos. I salute you all, and I will see you with another video very soon.